Poison Sting. A terrible move. Or so you thought. Can I beat Pokemon Platinum by only dealing damage with Poison Sting? Your first answer would be no. But I am a genius. I developed such crazy and very repetitive strategies that allowed me to conquer Sinnoh. As for the rules, I can only deal damage with Poison Sting. No Toxic, no Spikes. Except for Steel types. I'll get into that later. And of course, no items in battle. Let's begin. For starters, I went with Turtwig. The reason for this is that Empoleon is a Steel type, so Poison Sting obviously wouldn't work. Torterra is much bulkier than Infernape too. So my logic was that, since Infernape is fast, but not very defensive, I can get more damage overall. After scurrying around the start of the game for a while, I used my magical powers to skip all of the grass, and catch one of my first members, Wurmple. And then I went back to the start. That way I could be legit. Wurmple had to be level 5 for Poison Sting, so I leveled him up, and voila, now the run can really begin. Staying in the same route, I evolved Wurmple into a Silicoon, and then Beautyfly as well. Luckily, before the first gym, we already have plenty of access to 3 Poison Sting users. One is Beautyfly, but Dustox and Roselia are easily within reach too. As for actually obtaining Roselia, I just ran around like a bozo until I eventually maxed out the happiness level. With our team finally complete, we challenged Barry. I literally just spammed Poison Sting since the Starly had no flying moves and the Chimchar just used a Leer for some reason. When I found Rourke and challenged him a few times, I realized my team was not going to work. The issue currently was Stealth Rock and Rock Throw, which obliterated Dustox and Beautyfly, leaving Roselia hanging. So off I went to catch 5 more Bidoof, since Rock doesn't decimate grass/poison types. After running around like a bozo again, I obtained 5 more Roselia. Battling with a full team of them, I managed to reach Cranidos, who was still too strong. This meant I had used my last resort, Dustox, at level 20. So yeah, I know, it's 6 levels over, but after melting my brain, this was the best solution. Dustox learns Protect at level 17, and Moonlight at 20. So after my Roselia did the heavy lifting, Dustox came in and tanked some headbutts, healed up, and attacked. Eventually, Cranidos was down. With our first gym badge secured, it was now time to visit Flomaroma. We quickly helped out the old man being jumped by Team Galactic and obtained some honey. This honey will become quite important later. I doubt you can guess why. Either way, I lathered up some trees and approached Mars. My strategy here was very simple. Zubat got knocked out by Poison Sting spam, and so did Prugly. Thankfully it got poisoned and my Roselia managed to live it out. Continuing onward, before challenging Gardenia, I leveled everyone up to level 22. And equipped ourselves with Grass Whistle, specifically for Roserade. Her entire team got Poison Sting spammed by one Roselia, and Roserade was put to sleep by the same one. With 5 Pokemon remaining, I just kept spamming in one. Immediately after, we paid Jupiter a visit. Her Zubat destroyed me with its wing attack. My solution? 5 Dustox. To get around the Zubat, I spammed Harden and Moonlight, and was finally able to attack. Skuntank was the exact same as well, other than the fact that I had Roselia use Stun Spore to make life a little easier. Poison Sting eventually took Skuntank out on our second try. The nice old man awarded us with a bike, and I was finally able to catch a Gligar. Sadly, we could not give him Poison Sting yet. Now the next challenge ahead was Fantina. Using the exact same team as before, we pushed through. I got a quick poison on the Duskull and stalled it out while protecting and healing. When Miss Magius was sent in, I also got a quick poison off on the first turn. Yet again, with Moonlight and Protect, Miss Magius eventually fainted from poison. Haunter was the real issue with this gym. Poison Sting was doing no damage, so I opted for a Stun Spore to minimize its chance of struggling. Unfortunately, even with the hardened spam and paralysis, my stalling still led it to struggling, since all that it had left to use was Hypnosis and Confuse Ray. Thankfully though, since it was at such a low HP, I'll still consider it a real win. Now, do you remember those honey trees I lathered up not too long ago? Well, I went to check on them, and 2 Combi were found. I did soft reset to get the female though. Later on, we will find Vespiquen's true potential. On our way to Pastoria, we had to take out Barry. Facing a Staravia, I just did some of my usual stalling with Harden, and managed to get the poison off with Poison Sting. Staravia fainted, and Monferno was next. Again, the same strategy. Monferno, Weasel, and Roselia were all done. Some time had passed after this battle, so I checked more honey trees, and I found 4 more Combi, so we had 6 total. Onwards we went to Solaceon Town. Now what is so special about this town? Well, we can hatch eggs here. Let's look at Gligar for example. At level 1, our beloved move, Poison Sting. So obviously I went ahead and hatched some. Now Gligar has a permit to our run. Next up on our schedule was Veilstone City. Since TM Protect was sold here, I bought a bunch of them because they are an absolute necessity for poison stalling. Then of course, we had Maylene's gym. Now you're probably thinking, Oh, Maylene has Lucario. The run is over. Wrong. Well, kind of. To sort of imitate poison damage, I chose Leech Seed. I know, Leech Seed does 1/8 of maximum HP, while Poison does 1/16, but I really couldn't think of a better option. Plus, long term for Steel types, this seemed the most suitable. Now to go into detail as to how I won, I used Gligar to poison both Meditite and Machoke after using a few hardens. Rock Throw was basically doing nothing to me. Same as Strength and Confusion. Afterwards, I still had 4 Pokemon left, so using Gligar again to use Sand Attack until Lucario was at -6 accuracy and sending in Roselia to use Leech Seed made this sweat free. Fortunately now, Gligar had the chance to evolve. On Route 214, we can pick up a Razor Fang with the Dowsing Machine, and just like that, we have a Gliscor. Sadly, only one is obtainable. Not to fear though. Scorpy can join the team next. As we made our way to Pastoria City, the Great Marsh awaits us. Not only was there Scorpy, there was also a Krogunk. Since catching both of these fellas was super annoying, I decided to breed 5 more to save myself the hassle. Breeding them also allowed them to learn Poison Sting too. After evolving Krogunk, Barry pulled up for some smoke. With our classic strategy, we did a little bit of screeching and poisoning on Staravia. Weasel was simple with our Roselia, and Monferno got spammed by our Toxicroak and Gliscor. Lastly, Barry's Roselia got finished off by our Dustox. With a simple win, Barry scurried off, and Wake stood inside, delaying his defeat. Hold on! Let's take a look at our Toxicroak's abilities. Dry Skin. This means any water moves will never be a problem again. I menacingly approached Mr. Crasher and politely asked him to hand over the badge, and the battle started. First off, his Gyarados wouldn't click anything but Waterfall, making Toxicroak's Paradise reality. Quagsire did have Mud Shot, but before taking out Toxicroak, we poisoned him. Gligar 1 and Gligar 2 were able to stall him out long enough to let Poison do its thing. Lastly, Floatzel was the ace up Wake's sleeve. Out goes our second Toxicroak, and the fight is ours. In order to progress, I had to visit Celestic Town, when Cyrus rudely interrupted and fought me. Dustox poisoned Sneasel before switching into Golbat, so I countered with Gligar. Landing 3 Screeches and 4 Sand Attacks proved to be helpful since my Toxicroak was next, taking Golbat out. Before Murkrow could take him down, he also poisoned him. Gliscor did some stalling as usual, and Dustox cleaned up the rest. New encounter time! Who? Tentacool. And since our level cap was high enough, we were now able to obtain Drapion and Tentacruel. The fun was not long though, because the next hurdle was Byron, who only uses steel types. Oh, but don't worry, Barry's here to make everything about himself again. Drapion started off with a strong poison, and ultimately gave his life to this battle. I chose Gligar next, and luckily he got an early poison as well. With a last ditch effort, he landed 3 Sand Attacks. Tentacruel set up a barrier, and watched Heracross faint. Using Barrier 2 more times, we spammed Poison Sting, but didn't get any poison. Regardless, we still took out Infernape. Thanks to Barry being so bad, he let Floatzel heal my Toxicroak, making Floatzel a waste. Now, for whatever reason, Poison Sting was doing huge damage to Roserade, so that wasn't an issue. Thank you, Barry, for never failing to lose. Now, we must plan. Obviously, Leech Seed was a must. Looking back at Maylene's Lucario, Leech Seed was my only method of damage. It was also time to bring out the big guns. Vespiquen. This Pokemon's true potential lies in 2 moves, Heal Order and Defend Order. With our team composed of 2 Vespiquen, 2 Roselia, Gliscor, and Gligar, I was completely prepared. Gligar number 1 landed 6 Sand Attacks on Magneton, allowing Roselia to switch in for free and use Leech Seed along with Grass Whistle. I then sent out Vespiquen to spam Heal and Defense Order until Magneton was swapped. Byron switched to Steelix, forcing me to sack. Gligar went back in to land another 6 Sand Attacks. Roselia set up Leech Seed again. After Steelix was down, Roselia moved quicker than Bastiodon to land yet another Leech Seed. What did I do next? Gligar Sand Attack. Yeah, this is going to be a very recurring theme, by the way, so get used to it. Going forward, you get the gist of this battle here. Eventually, yes, I won. Saying goodbye to my biggest poison hater, Byron, I had to stop Team Galactic at Lake Valor and Lake Verity. Facing Saturn, first we see a Golbat. The strategy is known at this point. -6 accuracy, -6 defense. But this time we got Gliscor to +6 attack with Swords Dance. Saturn had a Bronzor, of course, so here comes Leech Seed. The finishing touch? Yeah. Screech and Sand Attack. And Roselia had the last laugh. Mars had the exact same team, and we just used the exact same strategy. Forward we go to Snow Point City. I booked it over to Candice. This time around, the strategy was slightly different. Of course, we have the classic Sand Attack spam, but Glasgow fainted, so I sent in one of my 4 Vespiquen. So yeah, from here I just spammed Defense Order and Heal Order. And Poison Sting, obviously. Candice withdrew Sneasel and sent out Pillow Swine. The first Poison Sting to connect poisoned it. I heal stalled, and just like that, Pillow Swine was done. Yet again, after poisoning Sneasel, I stalled some more. Eventually, Vespiquen number 1 was gone. But no problem. Let me just send in another one. And then another. With my good old stat maxing, Frostlass was done. And our last enemy was a Bombasnow. Avalanche and Blizzard were not a problem. So Poison did its thing, and we won. Shiny Stone time! Now that we have Rock Climb, I was able to obtain a Shiny Stone by Celestic Town. This also meant I could evolve Roselia. Once we did that, I headed over to the Team Galactic headquarters, where I found Cyrus plotting something evil. I started off with Tentacruel, raising my own defense and lowering Sneasel's. With a quick poison to start, I used Barrier one more time and stalled. When Crobat was out, I opted for a Screech and Sand Attacks. Of course, it was time for Vespiquen again. Thanks to my stalling, Crobat just struggled. Honchkrow's Nightshade was a slight issue, but I just max healed and played for the poison. Now with 0 stat drops on Honchkrow, Drillpeck was hurting, but we managed to wait long enough and let Drapion pick up the W. This was not going to be the last time Cyrus gives me a problem. I hate that guy. My fun in the Galactic building also wasn't done. I had to give Saturn another round. Since he only had 3 Pokemon, I finally caught a break with these bums. Got Glasgow to +6 attack, and eliminated Golbat. As for Bronzor, we hit him with the Leech Seed, Vespiquen, Swaparoonie. Of course, I maxed out my stats and got Toxicroak as low as possible. Tentacruel was sent out for the Screech and Barrier, and Toxicroak eventually struggled. We're now approaching the end game. It was time to traverse through Mount Coronet and arrive at the Spear Pillar. Mars and Jupiter wanted to scrap again, so Barry basically did the job for me. For a while, I had Vespiquen sit out and stall while Barry attacked. When Barry finally ran out of Pokemon, Drapion landed some Stings and Leers, and Toxicroak wrapped it up. Let's go to the Distortion World! Whoa! Yeah, no. I did not enjoy my time in here at all. Cyrus gave me a couple whoopins. I ended up breeding more Scorpy, that way Drapion could have Screech and Sand Attack. This fight got so bad, to the point where I had to save state turns of the battle. My first save state was when I landed 6 Sand Attacks and 1 Screech on Houndoom, and still survived. I decided that I basically had to go almost hitless versus Houndoom to win. When Houndoom was done, I lost 2 more Drapion to Gyarados' Earthquake. When he was out of Earthquakes, I've save stated yet again, and dropped his defense to -6. Gyarados out of the way, I've save stated again. Yeah, the battle was this bad. I spent like 2 hours trying everything. By some miracle, I landed 6 straight Sand Attacks on Honchkrow, only being hit once. This same Drapion got him down to -6 defense as well, and my second last one was able to take him out. Before fainting, I got 3 more Sand Attacks off, and now I was up to my final Drapion. I saved again and landed another 3 Sand Attacks, and 3 Screeches. I ended up literally writing each and every single move down, step by step, giving me a near guaranteed win at this point. My only barrier now was Crobat and Weavile. With 4 HP left, I did it. And oh my god, I was relieved. I approached Giratina, completely full of anger, and smoked him. And I guess now I thought was a good time to get citrus berries, when I probably could have got them before this Cyrus fight, but I digress. After, we finally reached our second final destination, Sunny Shore City. Here we fight Volkner, who thankfully uses electric types. Thank God. A break. Equipping myself with 3 Gligar, Gliscor, Drapion, and Vespiquen, I was set. Drapion and Gligar ran my classic setup for me, while Luxray just kinda swept me. But of course, Vespiquen got swole and swept the rest of Volkner's team. Nearing the end of my journey, we still had the Pokemon League. Upon arriving, I was second guessing myself, so I took an alternative route. Now for the last time, Barry challenged me. My Drapion rendered Snorlax useless, but he kept resting. So after my Vespiquen stacked up, I had to basically wait until Snorlax struggled, since landing a poison felt impossible. I nearly ran out of poison stings when my third last one gave me the poison on Staraptor. After, I literally only had 5 moves left. With my last poison sting, I poisoned Infernape too. At this point, Vespiquen was also struggling, so I switched to Drapion. Infernape fell to poison after I clutched up with 1 HP. Heracross got smacked by 3 Sand Attacks before landing a hit. Landing 3 more with a fresh Drapion and 2 Screeches, Poison Sting did its job. Floatzel and Roserade also suffered the same fate. Now let's begin the Elite Four. To save you guys the pain I went through, I'm basically cutting out 2 whole hours of gameplay. Woo! Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Long story short, I tried 3 different combinations of teams before finally finding one that worked. 3 Drapion, 2 Vespiquen, and 1 Roserade, specifically just for the steel types. First up was Aaron. Yanmega hit a fast U-turn, so was easily able to get rid of Heracross. Once Aaron's Vespiquen was out, I sent out mine for a setup battle, which I won. Since I was already set up, Yanmega was a breeze. Now Drapion eventually struggled since Poison Sting was doing such little damage. Aaron full restored, and he also held the Citrus Berry. As for Scissor, since Roserade was quicker, we got our Leech Seed off, and Vespiquen stalled to victory. Bertha was a thorn in my side. First, I set up against Westcash, until Gliscor appeared, which I easily got rid of. Same with Golem as well. Now for Rhyperior. I got 2 sand attacks off this time, before being left with my last Vespiquen. You already know. I set up again, and wiped out Rhyperior, Hippowdon, and Westcash quite easily. Now for Flint. His Houndoom was my downfall for like an hour. My only working strategy was to land 6 sand attacks without fainting, and set up from there. Sunlight plus Flamethrower was not fun. My defend order succeeded, and down went Houndoom. Flareon was simple, but Rapidash smoked me with Flare Blitz, but we poisoned it so I didn't really care. Drapion tanked a hit, and stalled. Then it was Infernape time. Being a powerhouse, I went for some sand attacks, so Vespiquen numero 2 could set up. Luckily when Infernape was gone, all I had to do versus Magmortar was heal and land 2 protects in a row. For some reason he clicked Hyper Beam, but I won regardless. Finally, the last member of the Elite Four was Lucian. He was definitely the easiest of the 4. I got Vespiquen to +6 and wiped out Mr. Mime. Glade got me with a lucky crit, and my paralysis screwed me. I threw in Drapion and got 2 lucky protects, and then finished him. As for Bronzong, I obviously sent in Roserade, my get out of jail free card. Alakazam was not a problem either, due to how defensively weak he was. With some screeches, he basically dropped from 2 poison stings. To wrap it all up, Drapion number 2 and number 3 sand attacked and screeched, and eventually both Espeon and Drapion number 3 fainted at the same time. Absolute cinema. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It is time to win this painful run. You can already guess. Yes, Vespiquen Giga Max stats. We got a quick poison off on the Spiritomb when she decided to switch to Garchomp, who also got poisoned very quickly. Then, she wimped out into Lucario. With some good luck, without any stat lowering, Roserade avoided a Stone Edge, giving us a free Leech Seed. I clicked Grass Whistle before throwing in Drapion for some accuracy drops. Due to the full restore, Drapion fainted for his final time. This is a golden opportunity to send Vespiquen back out and raise my defense again, while waiting for Leech Seed to do its thing. I don't know what was going on today, but every poison I managed to land was effortless. So unfortunately for Togekiss, yet again, we poisoned it with our first Poison Sting. Togekiss was done after some stalling. Next up was Melodic. Boom! Again! A poison from our first Poison Sting. Finally, my luck ran out when Melodic critted me. I figured now was a good time to sack Roserade. My best bet now was to let Drapion spam Sand Attack, poison it, and set up Vespiquen number 2. Melodic and Garchomp were both a breeze now. Spiritomb finally reappeared and also got cooked up. Sadly, Spiritomb did resort to struggling, but only connected when its HP was in the red, so poison would have taken care of him anyway. Now for the finale. It was not cinema by any means. Vespiquen chipped Roserade down to just below half HP, and my Drapion screeched and used his 2 final Poison Stings to win us the game. As long as this run took me, I still enjoyed it. I think it was really fun finding all sorts of really weird and just stupid strategies. But now I get to walk the Hall of Fame with my final team. Now you guys should try this challenge and let me know what you did to win.